A national campaign has been launched in the East Midlands to save Britain's ancient woodlands. The Grantham-based Woodland Trust says almost 30 woods in our region are under threat from developers. It comes as the government considers a move to relax rules to allow builders to remove ancient trees if they plant new ones elsewhere. Des Coleman's been down to the woods to find out more.
Swiveland Wood in the heart of Leicestershire. This place hasn't been touched for over 1,000 years, and it's reckoned that a third of our forests are ancient woodlands. But now campaigners say that they are under threat from developers and government indifference, and that many of our forests could disappear. So, Austin, you're head of conservation, 500,000 members. What is it exactly you want from people?
Well, at the Woodland Trust, we are passionate about ancient woodland and about native trees. We want people to recognise that our ancient woodlands are not protected. People seem to think that because they're special, they get automatic protection from the planning system, but that's simply not the case.
So what are your concerns about the government's plans?
Well, at the moment, the government have been talking about something called biodiversity offsetting, which allows developers and projects to think about creating new areas of habitat to make up for those that might be lost or damaged as part of development. Now, we've always said that ancient woodland is our most precious resource in habitat terms, and it can't be replaced. So we don't think that we can apply that kind of approach to ancient trees and ancient woods. They take so long to develop, and of course, like here with these beautiful oak trees, part of what people associate with the history and heritage of England, and the soil and the wildlife, it's taken decades to develop. You can't simply replace it with a few new trees somewhere else.
So what do you want people to do?
Well, we want people to join us in adding their voice to tell the government that this is a problem that needs to be solved. People can get onto the Woodland Trust website, look at our campaign and add their name to the list, asking the government to look again at protecting our most valuable natural resource.
Fair enough, in the depths of winter this place is fairly bare. But in the summer it'll be full of leaves and lots of colour, as it has been for hundreds of years. And campaigners hope that it'll continue for hundreds of years into the future.
Des Coleman doing his best Robin Hood impression there. Chris Williamson, do you worry about the future of our ancient woodland?
I think our ancient woodlands are an incredibly important asset that we need to protect at all costs, but the problem is the government's planning policy is in a complete mess. And whilst I support offsetting, I think it's essential that ancient woodlands should be exempt from that. But we obviously need housing. There is a massive housing crisis in our country. We're building fewer houses now than we've built since the 1920s. And I think what we're saying is that developers who are land banking must either use it or lose it. And I think that way we hopefully will bring more development land into use. And I think it's important to revisit the brownfield first policy as well.
Should we be doing more to save our ancient woodland?
I don't think anyone wants to see us lose any of our ancient woodlands. So I mean, clearly that should be the last resort for development. I mean, I guess if you have to drive a new railway and
it's under consideration
then offsetting
right now.
has some sense to it. But I mean, I would agree. We need to protect those woodlands. I've no qualms about saying that.
What would you do to protect the woodland?
Well, I mean, they should be the absolute last resort for any development. I mean, it should be, there's nowhere else, there's no other alternative for something that has to go through there. But I mean, that should really be.
The funny thing is that I think a lot of people would think that these ancient woodlands are already protected. It'll come as news to them that they're not. Shouldn't they have been protected all along?
They've been under tremendous oppression. We've lost a considerable proportion already of our ancient woodlands since the Second World War, and I think more does need to be done to protect this absolutely essential asset for the future generations.
Of course, when developers cut down 10,000 trees to make way for the M6 toll road, they did actually plant loads more trees behind them, so they are promising to do that.
I think we need to distinguish between ancient woodlands and other woodlands. I think ancient woodlands are in a special category of their own. I think we need to do everything we can, I think, and Nigel, I think, would probably agree, to protect those. And I think one of the things that the government could usefully do is exempt ancient woodlands from the offsetting proposals that they're talking about.
Would you back the Woodland Trust campaign then to protect these woodlands further?
Yes, I mean, it seems eminently sensible. I think anybody wants to see ancient woodlands lost, do we? Once they're gone, they can't come back. I mean, I've got a local community woodland. It's not ancient in my seat, but I'm happy to support them. They've done actually great work taking something that was in corporate ownership, bringing it out to the public and getting it actually used more by people. So I mean, I think these are a great natural resource for us.
An asset for the East Midlands. I mean, the Woodland Trust reckon 28 ancient woodlands in the East Midlands and up to 300 across the country are under threat.
Indeed, and as I've already
Once they're gone, I guess, is
well,
what they're saying, isn't it?
that's right, and that's why I think the government does need to look at this very, very carefully. And I think a minimum step should be exempting ancient woodlands from the offsetting proposition.
So where do we put all these houses that we so desperately
Well, as I've already
need?
said, brownfield first, ensuring that the land that developers holding in land banks are brought to the table. And what we've said is that they must use it or lose it. I mean, developers are sitting on hundreds of thousands of acres across the country, and you know, there is plenty of land available for development. We just need to make sure the developers get on and develop.
Will you put pressure on the developers?
Yeah, I mean, I have the same problems in my seat as Chris has, where I think we share a housing area, so we have the same housing targets, and we're facing the threat of greenbelt I've been campaigning against being absorbed by housing, and that really it shouldn't be happening. I've got brownfield sites which need to come back to life. It costs more. There needs to be some innovative plans to achieve that, but that has to be the right way. That yes, we need housing, it needs to be in the right place and not tearing up what's left of the countryside.
It's a very, very fine balance, isn't it?